Welcome to Deeply Rooted, a web series on mindset. My name is Tony Wisdom, aka Tony Gaines. I've spent over 20 years in the music business as a producer, engineer, label owner, and executive. This show is dedicated to changing the narrative on success. I reached out to the most successful people I know. I want to know what drives them, their greatest mistakes, their best advice, their secrets to success, and how all of that has shaped who they are today. Take a journey with us.
What's going on, y'all? Deeply Rooted, Season 5, Episode 2, with one of my favorite people. His name is Joao. And I met Joao in my Clubhouse group that I talk about all the time. My amazing family of, Clubhouse friends from the Giving Unconditionally Club, which, by the way, if you're looking for some daily motivation and to be around people with a good mindset and always talking about gratitude and love and belief, and shoot me a message and I'll get you a link and I'll get you there, because definitely a place where I grow and where I meet fantastic people like Joao. The thing that struck me about Joao, or that strikes me about Joao, is he's always coming from his heart, from a place of authenticity and with love. Joao likes to say Joao is love, and I love that. We even added an extra question this week that we'll be asking from here on out. See if you can spot it. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to bring Joao on and we're going to have another great conversation. So take a journey with us, man. There he is. How you doing, sir?
My man, Tony, I'm great. How are you?
Man, I'm awesome. It's another beautiful day, man. My son had a great coming out weekend in basketball, something he's been working for since third grade, and he's in college, and he had his coming out party this weekend, man, and it was really great to see. So,
that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, man. So, how are you? I mean, it's been, I don't know, it feels like it's been months since I saw you, and got to give you a hug, but it's been a few weeks since UPW, man. How are you?
I'm great, actually. This has been a great weekend as well, because it was my godson 3-year birthday, and I got to spend time with him and my family. So it was very, very awesome. But since UPW, it looks like it seems like it's a whole life has happened ever since, right? So we saw each other I don't know. 3 weeks ago. After that, I went when we went to Mexico to sinking in and work on some personal projects as well. And then I went 1 week to Portugal to work from there and basically kick off other projects that I'm cooking. And I landed in the UK last week and back to the cold. But I'm really, really excited with what's coming up. But yeah, it's cold. It's very cold.
That's awesome. So before we get into it, can you briefly give me a little bit of your background? I mean, and kind of what you're doing now?
Yes. So I'm in consulting. So I do management consulting within strategy and IT as well. So I do implementations and I oversee those projects. I've been working with that for the past 7 years. Before I was doing more operational strategic consulting, but that's basically my life. My industry is financial services. So I work with banks and insurance companies and any credit institution, basically. that's my official work. Let's put it that way. That's my graduation, and that's what I decided that I wanted to work to get a living, to pay for my roof, to pay for my bread, to pay for my way of life. So I started my career like 15 years ago at one of the big four, and it basically went ever since like that. So working with big companies and just trying to grow on the corporate ladder. I did do like a few months away from the industry, where I decided that I wanted to go to the countryside and live an easy life, or an easier life. It went awesome, but I kind of felt that I needed to go back. So I joined consulting again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, not always in Portugal. So I'm originally from Portugal, but I'm always traveling for work. So living here and there. And I've been in the UK for the past 6 years.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get into it, Joao. How do you define? Yeah, how do you define success?
Oof, success. It really depends on what you're measuring in terms of what is the situation, right? So for my work, for example, I'm an overachiever, so I tend to always deliver more than what they ask me to, which my line managers really don't like. But that's how I actually become distinguished from other consultants, where everyone delivers the must-haves. I also deliver the nice-to-haves. Of course, that has a price that I sometimes work a little bit more, but it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
But because I do try to overachieve, then I have to plan. And when I plan, the plan is very thorough. So I think that success in that case is when I achieve like 85% of my plan, which means that they're happy. So that's okay. I didn't achieve exactly what I wanted to, but it's enough for them to say this is a success. On my personal life, then that's different, because I've been redefining the concept of success for the past years, because what before was something that I believed in because of the way I was brought up and the society that I used to live in. Now it's not anymore. So I was able to destroy those mental blocks in my head. But as long as I'm happy, I'm achieving success. Happiness is my success. You know, it might not be perfect. Oh, that's another thing. Like, what is perfect? You know, it might not be perfect, but if I'm happy, then it's a success. Like, it means that everything went well, and yeah.
I love it. I love both of those. You know, it's something that, you know, AJ Neal says, something Tony Robbins says, you know, is under promise, over deliver. So professionally, you know, that's the key to success, right? Like,
Exactly.
just do more. Like you said, deliver also the nice to haves on top of the must haves, you know. But I skipped over this question, the first question, because I was trying to go like off my head. I hadn't had my questions pulled up, but like for you, Joao, it was like the most important question. So, who is Joao, the person?
Well, that you know it. It's this like Joao is love. The way it's very difficult to actually define someone. The first time someone asked me that question, I was like, I don't know, like I am who I am. It's me. I feel it. Like it comes from here. Do I have to label it? But it's so much easier when you put a label on this type of things, because you can actually work on it. It's out there. Like you're writing it down and you can work on it because you see it, you visualize it. You just don't feel it. But yeah, I'm love. If I have to do a screenshot today, I'm love. I'm built with all of these parts that are inside me, that I have in my head. I have myself as well in there, and all of them together, they're not yet the whole, because I may be all of these things, but lately what I've been trying to do, not trying, because we don't try, what I've been doing is that I've been stripping down all of these things that I thought I was, but I don't need to be, you know? So I'm just focusing on I am love. And if I'm happy, then that's more than enough.
I love it. I love it. And Dawn also made a comment. She pointed out the trying too. I must have said trying at some point too, but you're right. So what's your why, Joao?
My why. That's that's a difficult question.
Okay.
Because the why, I always think, because I feel a lot, everything, like I do feel a lot. And if I try to define why am I living, or why do I do my things, I always think that it's because of other people. But ultimately, it's not. My why is, it's me, it's my happiness. And in the beginning, I felt very selfish to think like that, you know, like, why am I putting myself first than other people? But it's not selfish, it's like, it's selfless. Like, I need to be happy, and I get to be happy for me to be able to be there for other people, for me to be able to be fully loved, you know? Because if I don't, then it's kind of transactional, because I'll feel like I'm always trying to get something out of any act that I will have towards people. And it's not organic, you know, it's not authentic. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, so as long, my why is my happiness and me first. As long as I'm happy, then the world can have me.
So I like how you did that.
Yeah, I need to put some disclaimers, like the fine print, you know, down below. Like, wait a minute.
Absolutely not, man. That's one thing I love about you is, you know, you're right here. You're just right here, bro. And, you know, and
actually,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Someone said to me like a few months ago that it wasn't Clubhouse, actually. I went there, and this amazing soul told me, she just met me like 2 minutes down the line, and she was like, João is different. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. And she said, because João feels before he speaks. And I'm like, I never thought about it like that, you know? Yeah. And I like to believe that that helps people. So
it does. We need more people like that, man. That just, because really that's the secret to me, is living from your heart. And like you said, figuring out what makes you happy and becoming the best you that you can be, because that benefits everyone. And on a small level, it benefits the people around you, but on a big level, it just simply makes the world a better place. And Joao, you make the world a better place just by showing up, you know? So, sorry, I keep messing with this light. So, okay, let me get to this next question. All right, so can you think of a major setback or quote unquote failure that set you up for later success? Like a major one.
Let me start. A major one. I have, like, as I said, I feel a lot. So anything, any tiny little thing that happens in my life, it's like the end of the world. And I've managed to actually know that it's not the end of the world, and calm yourself down, chill. But in terms of setback, as in, I thought that I was going somewhere and it didn't happen, and I had to go another way, was, I would say that it was like when I was about to finish my uni, my graduation, I delayed my course for 1 year because I wanted to do this exchange program, an international exchange program.
Okay.
And I knew back then that it could potentially have a bad connotation on my resume, you know, because, oh my God, like one of the best unis in Portugal, but he has 1 year delayed, so he might not be too bright. And what other people think of me, you know, that was like a big thing. But I didn't care back then because my sister back then, she told me, she was the one like imprinting this need of going out to the world and experience the world, getting out of my comfort zone and expand it, you know, so that you're comfortable with more things happening in your life and you can experience and share yourself and others out in the world. So I decided to do it. I had a very difficult conversation with my parents back then, and I said, I really want to do this. I think that it's good for me personally. I was able to actually work them because I was going to another very well known uni on the other side of the exchange program. So it was kind of okay. But all I wanted to do is to experience the world, which is like a Portuguese expression that we have is like you have world, which means that you're like, this is the literal translation, which makes no sense whatsoever in English. But it's like it means that you are experienced and you have a perspective of the world that it doesn't come from your tiny little town on this tiny little country, you know. So yeah, I think that was my setback. I delayed my course, my graduation 1 year, having full knowledge that I might get consequences not getting a better job, a good job, or I don't know. It actually was very good. Today, I still travel with the same feeling that I had back then, which is I want to experience what I experienced back then, and I always do. So that was amazing.
So what's the expression? Like, what is it in Portuguese?
Ter mundo. Have world.
Have world. Ter mundo.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? It could be an investment of money, time, energy, etc.
If I'm cheeky, it's like any time spent with my family and friends, it's amazing, and it is. But I would say my pianos, like any amount of money, time, any tears, any heartfelt emotions that I pour into them, it's always a great investment because the return is 1,000%, and it's where I recharge with the music and whatever I create on the spot, or just a simple, I don't know, happy birthday on the piano. I don't know, like just the sound of it for me, it's like it's my biggest and best investment ever.
I love that. I love that. And do you record or do you just play?
Well, I don't record like as in professionally at all. I've been starting to meddle with GarageBand now. A few days ago, I sent one record to Dawn, and she played on her radio. She has a show on the radio, and I was like, "Woo! My song is being played on the radio." Like
awesome.
Nothing to do with rock or whatever, but but yeah, I don't produce or I don't record, but I do sit down in front of the piano and just start composing, and then I liaise that with my writing as well. So
I love it, man. And you're just simply like, this is what I say, because I teach a production class right now, like a music production class. And one thing I tell my students all the time is, and something I found just for me creatively is, it's best when I just am a vessel, right? So, because we have these ideas and these things pop in our head, but like truly, where do they come from, right? Like they just kind of pop in there. That's the, that's infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, divine inspiration, right? And being a vessel is just letting them come through. But a lot of the times people will let their head get in the way, right? So like in terms of a producer, you could have finished in 30 minutes if you just let the ideas flow. But now we're working on 3 hours and you're still working on the kick drum. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we get in our own way, so I like just that you're just using it to where what comes through, and you're letting that be. That's a very pure way to be a musician. So I love it. But if you ever need help, reach out to me, bro. I could at least guide you in the right way.
Who knows? Who knows? Absolutely.
Yes, I got your back, brother. So this is a new one this week. And I don't know if you were in the room, but our topic for the room was love on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. One of the days, like they're all themed days now. And we were talking about love, and I just asked everyone, like, what is your definition of love? Like, how do you define
it? I didn't know. Well, I did know about the rooms now being themed, but I haven't been to any that is the love one. I think Mimi told me about the how you were you were structuring it, and it's really cool that you're doing it that way. The way I define love is something that it's not even mine. I'm not even original on that one, but it was someone a long time ago, and I still carry that person with me. They told me that love is when you peel an apple for someone, and I basically grab that and I carry that with me every single time someone asks me how to define love. What it means is that it's not like it's not about the apple. It's about the extra mile. It's about the unconditionality that you put into an action, that that it will bring happiness or it will support someone else without wanting or needing or expecting anything else in return. It's just out. It's upwards. Like I'm doing this extra mile, not because they asked. It's because I know a little bit of them and I know they will appreciate it. That for me is true love.
I love it, man. I love it, and I love that you're the first person to answer that question on this show. Such a great answer.
I'm honored.
So, what act of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget? Speaking of love,
as in acts of kindness that I practiced or someone
practiced
towards me?
Yeah, were you once shown that someone's shown you?
I told you about this. So many. I'm so blessed. I'm so privileged that I tend to surround myself with people that are loving and they're there for me, So I don't know. Every time I call my friend Mariana and she looks at my face and she doesn't say a thing, and I like start crying. And she's like, after 2 minutes, silence, and she's like, "Okay, are you okay now to talk?" And then I'll start talking as nothing ever happened. That for me is like a lot of patience and understanding that her kind heart has towards me, and I love that. I would say that a coincidence that was kindness in my life that I remember, it was this was like 2 years ago in Byron's Bay, Australia. I went there for the New Year's Eve, and we were doing a road trip, and my friends were driving back to Sydney, but I didn't have enough time to actually do the drive back, so I had to take a flight from Byron's Bay to, I think that was it, Byron's Bay or to Brisbane. To Sydney. I don't know. I know that I was walking barefoot in Byron's Bay because apparently that's what people do in Byron's Bay. They walk barefoot. And there I was with my carry-on, walking barefoot in the street, which was amazing and freeing. And I was waiting for the bus, and I saw this girl walking, and she had like a like amazingly blue luggage carry-on suitcase walking, and she had a sunflower on top of it. And I went there. I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I take a picture of it? I think the scenery is like amazing." So yeah, absolutely. And then she was like, then we started talking, and she held my hand, and she was like, "Do you believe in Jesus Christ?" Out of the blue. And I'm like, "Are we talking about religion now?" I just wanted a picture. Nothing about the religion, but basically what she wanted to understand if I was spiritual. And as she held my hand, she looked at me and she said, "All you have to do is be you." And I'm like, "What? How do you know?" Because the whole trip was everywhere I was looking, almost every conversation that I was having with people that I was meeting there was, what other people think about you, it's none of your business. Like, forget it. And she, at the end of the trip, she looks at me, and out of nowhere, I didn't even know her. She was like, "All you have to do is be you." And then she delivers me like this. She hands over like a little flyer that she had with her socials, and she had like a sunflower in there and says "be," as in the buzzy bee, "be you" in that. I'm like, I still have it till today. And I was like, this is how kind a person can be without even knowing you. She knows what you need to hear, and that's amazing.
I love that, Joao, and I love that you still have it.
Yeah,
such a beautiful story, because it's those small little things, right? I remember Twee. She hasn't been to the room for a while, but
yes,
Twee just sent me a postcard and a lollipop and the little lollipop card, and it was the sweetest little thing ever, right? That, yes.
right.
You know,
It's amazing. It's fucking
those
amazing.
small little things can stick with someone forever, you know. It's so awesome. So, and that's really why I asked that question.
Club.
The secret lollipop club, right? And it's an emergency lollipop that, you know, when things get rough, you know, you break it open and you reflect, and you know, you get into gratitude and you take a moment, and it's just a small little thing. It's a lollipop in a business card, but it can mean so much for somebody, you know. Like, I love it. And that's one reason why I put this question in the show, is because I love hearing those stories, right?
Yeah.
I just love, that's like a selfish thing for me. Like, I like hearing stories of you know, small acts of kindness, big acts of kindness. Okay, so
what is yours? If we have time, I don't know. Do we have time?
Of course, we have all the time in the world. You know, I'm like you. Let me think of something really. You know, so when I was a teenager, I was in a lot of trouble, right? Like going to group homes and juvenile detention centers, and it eventually landed me in what was essentially a juvenile prison, right? And I was 17, and I really didn't have a purpose, a goal, a mission, other than to just kind of, you know, make as much money as I can and be as cool as I can. Like, there was really no direction for me, right? And one day we had a high school in this facility, and we go to school just like normal. We have different classes, and one of our classes was like career development, and they played videos from trade schools. All right. So it'd be like equestrian school or like motorcycle mechanic school. I don't think they had much hope for us, right? So it wasn't like universities or anything. You know? But one day a video they played was this video from a place called Full Sail. All right. And Full Sail is in Orlando. It's, one of the first schools that was like teaching music production and engineering and things like that. And it was like one of those moments, I have those moments where like the sky opens up and the sun comes down and then like you hear angels go, right? It was one of those moments for me because as big of a music fan as I was even then, I never considered where I live in Kansas in the middle of, the United States in the middle of nowhere, that I could have a career in music. It never crossed my mind until I saw that video. So when I go back at night, you're not allowed to make phone calls outside of like your mother. You can have like 3 people and they have to be approved numbers and all of that. So I wanted to call this number for this school so I could get the catalog sent to me in there. And the staff member that was working, he was a notorious hard ass and he doesn't break any rules, and he wouldn't let me use the phone to call. So I was like begging him all night. And he was like, no. Then about a week later, he showed up with the catalog and gave it to me, kind of like slipped it to me. And I sat there and I looked at that thing for probably 6 months every day. That was like one thing. And it became my dream. And it became, I had 20 years career, and so I think about that, and that little small act of kindness kind of changed the direction of my life. And he doesn't really know that, and he didn't have to do that. But, I think he kind of saw it in my eyes and felt that I was coming from my heart, and so that's mine, Joao. That's mine.
That's amazing. Are you still in contact with him, or do you know anything about him?
I haven't seen him since I left the facility. But now that you say that, I do remember his name, and I should try to hunt him down. I really should.
That would be great.
And I've thought about, going back to that place and speaking. I just want to have the right mission or the right purpose, and be prepared properly before I just show up and start talking. So in the last,
thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for sharing. And nobody's asked me that, so it was kind of hard. Like let me think, but because there's been so many, and I think it is kind of why I am the way I am too, is because I was present to those things. I really, what is it, 27 years later, I still think about the impact of that book. Yeah. And I can still remember what it looks like and what it smelled like,
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Well, it's gotta be can we curse?
Yes, absolutely. Hell yes. Fuck shit, damn, hell yes.
No, it's what other people think of you is none of your fucking business, because it feels better when you say fucking business, because it's not like no, don't stop, don't just do it, just go and be, which is very difficult for me to actually say this because I wasn't like this. And 5 years ago, I wasn't like this. 4 years ago, I wasn't like this. Mm-hmm. But all of this happened like 2 or 3 years ago when I was in Australia. And I keep hearing this, but it always fell through the cracks. But what happened with this girl in Australia was that it actually, it put like a blanket on the bottom, and nothing will fall from the crack back from that moment on. So every time I was hearing about it, it was building up and building up. And after UPW, which was something that I needed to put out there in the world because it is still one of my limiting beliefs that I'm destroying at the moment, is that. And I've managed to sit down with it, and I'm doing it. And what other people think of me is none of my fucking business. So that's the main one. The other one is this too shall pass, because I do think even more so now, so that everything's temporary, like the good and the bad. Everything's temporary. Like you always, it's like a balance, you know, like you always go to a place where you are equalized. So don't stress out. Don't get too excited when everything is excited. And I talk like I feel a lot. So when I'm happy, I'm very happy. When I'm sad, I'm very sad. But what I try to do now is that this too shall pass. So go back to your balance. Go back to the joy quicker, because I can understand better what's happening in my head, in my heart, and around me as well. So it's a matter of balancing it quicker than it was before, so I don't get it out of control.
I wish you had a mic so you could just drop it. No, I mean, yes, both of those things are great lessons, and I'm dealing with both of those things heavily myself, you know. And I read something, I'm not even sure where, but you know, every person that you meet has a different version of you in their head, right? So every single person, this person thinks of you this way, this person. So like, and then you have your own, right? That your ego and your mind has built up, right? Which consists of your limiting beliefs and all the things that you call your identity, right? But in the end, none of them are right. Right, like none of them are true. Like who you truly are. And that was one thing that UPW did for me. I got back to a point, into a place, emotionally, energy wise, that I hadn't been since I was a kid, and I didn't realize it was still there. You know, and like it wanted to come out and play, and it's been wanting to come out and play, right? And that is who I am. And if I don't know who the hell it is, then anybody else absolutely doesn't know, and they're missing information when they make their assessment anyway. So, you know, fuck them, Joao.
Exactly. Who cares?
I love it, man.
Who cares? Yeah. Love it.
So, what advice would you give to a kid about to enter the real world for the first time?
What's the real world? Is this real? Is this real life? I honestly, I don't know. One of the things that, as I said in the beginning, like I'm trying to strip down all of the things that I was, and one of the things that I was that I was always there, like to give solutions to everyone and say the right thing to everyone. And I understood that a lot of the times, I would say like the majority of the times, I was stepping out of boundaries, you know, like it wasn't my place to do that. But because I was feeling it so much and I really wanted to help, and I felt like, you need this, let me help you. Like, why don't you help me? Why don't you let me help you? And I was like, that's not my place. You know, like, chill, bro. This was me talking to myself. I give advice now. If people ask me, like, as in, what would you do? Like, what shall I? When people say, what shall I do? I always say, I don't know. I don't know. To this kid, if I'm in that kid position, what I would like someone to have told me was, don't jeopardize yourself. You're going to a dragon's den. So don't jeopardize yourself. Don't forget about you. Like, don't let you down, basically.
I love it. And I mean, I think your last two things are are great advice as well. Like
Oh yeah.
what people think of you is none of your fucking business, and this too shall pass. Right. So awesome. I love it. So here at Deeply Rooted, our mantra is kill the ego, ignite the soul. What does that mean to you?
Oof. Kill the ego, ignite the soul. I love the part where it says ignite the soul, because that's where you sit down with yourself and you actually like bring everything up, and you can have all of these conversations with all of your parts that are in you, like the scared Joao, the proud Joao, the not so confident Joao. And when you ignite the soul, it's like, hey, everyone, let's sit down and talk. If all of those parts actually allow you to talk.
Mm.
But for me, you have to bring the ego with you as well. Like ego means I, right? So it's all about the balance. So if you bring the ego, the self or the I that you have in there, well, the ego is not the self. But if you bring the ego as well and don't let it control, like you need to control it, but don't kill it, because he actually is needed for the other pieces to actually function and like get it together. But all of this only makes sense if you ignite the soul, because that's basically you going on this new adventure, which is amazing. That is your self-discovery. It's like a whole new world, like that is happening in there, not out there, it's in there. And you get to like talk with everyone, and it's safe because it's you. And all they have to do is that if you don't feel safe, just stop talking, and that's okay. Like don't panic. So control the ego and fucking ignite the soul.
Joao just rewrote the mantra. No, but I love that perspective, and I love having these conversations, right? Because you're right, there is a part of the ego, that you need to keep with you. Um, so, and for me, I think, when you're in your head, you're dead, right? In your head is the ego part for me when I say kill it, right? Like it's more like get out of your head, get into your heart. But I love that perspective because I mean, how is that even realistic? Is it realistic to get out of your head all the time? Like I mean, I'm getting there. I'm in there less. So I'm saying maybe it's realistic because I'm able to be in there less and from my heart more. But I love that part because you need it. It's your experiences. It's sometimes it's that voice in your head that gets you to walk on fire.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need it. and we're both firewalkers,
We're
so.
firewalkers. No, in that perspective, I fully agree with you. I think that if you want to, you can. Nothing is impossible. Like if you want to get out of your head, you will be able to. Just focus on that. But the thing is, being in your head sometimes it helps you survive, because your head every single time is creating all types of scenarios where it needs to kill you so that you don't go through that route. Like when you're driving, your head knows a scenario that if you don't turn on the curve, you're going to go ahead and you're going to crash and you might die. So your head is telling you, turn on the curve, don't go ahead. So that is needed for your survival. But what is needed for your growth is here. It's in here. Like it does need a little bit of connection because they again balance, but it's comes from.
I love it. I actually have my heart right under here, my Neil shirt. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So we all have this moment in our journeys where we want to call it quits, when we are at our lowest, so to speak. When you reached that point on your path, how did you fight through it, and what kept you going?
Knowing that everything's temporary. Like, nothing will ever last forever, not even the good or the bad. So knowing that it will go away, it really helps. Sometimes it is very overwhelming because you can't control it. It's not up to you. It's around you, and you have no control whatsoever on the other side. But what you do is within you. So, and I say this is something that I've been applying in my life lately, but I wasn't like this. For me, it was like, again, I feel a lot. So it was the end of the world. Every time I was overwhelmed, it was the end of the world. I stopped talking to my friends. I completely isolated myself. I was hoping and expecting that I would be the center of attention because I'm the one that is not okay. So come to me. But it's not like that. Like, if you need something, you need to put your hand up in the air and say help. So knowing that it depends on me and it's temporary, it's easier to survive these situations, because ultimately 100% of the times you survived it because you're still alive, right? So this won't be different. I love this. This comes from my brother. My brother always says this to me, like 100% of the times you survived it. So go.
I love it.
Yeah. What kept me going was knowing that if I don't do it, well, you have to do it, because if you don't do it, then you look around, you see all of your friends, you see all of your family, and these people that you want to keep supporting and helping. And if you don't keep going, who's going to be there for them? Like, you need to get well, you need to be happy, you get to. So that at one point you'll be there for other people, as other people were there for you. And these things are needed as well, because when you're overwhelmed or when you're down and you have a setback, you're actually allowing other people, if you reach out for help, you're allowing other people to give.
No doubt.
Because if not, then everyone's giving to whom? If everyone's okay, then there's no point.
If not you, then who? And if not now,
Exactly.
then when? Right?
Absolutely.
So, on a day-to-day basis, Joao, when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or have lost your focus temporarily, what do you do?
On top of feeling a lot, I think a lot. Not think as in I overthink, but I'm thinking about 10, 15 things at the same time. I'm talking to you and I have all of these plants here, and I'm thinking I haven't watered them today or yesterday. Oh, but where did I leave the thingy that waters them? Oh, and what about the temperature of the water? Then it's a rabbit hole. So I'm constantly thinking about this, and this is very, very overwhelming. So when it gets to this point that I can't do anything, I stop. And then procrastination comes along. And then I start feeling, what's the point? And I go into this vicious circle, that cycle that I'm on the sofa and not doing anything. So I've learned 2 tools to counteract this, which is you might as well, and just one. So for example, if I'm on these lows or slumps or whatever, and I need to go shopping or whatever, I say to myself, I might as well just take the trash out, and I might as well. So I'm going, so it's just, it doesn't cost me, it's not an effort to do that. Or if I'm in the living room and I'm going to the kitchen to grab some water, I might as well just take the dish in, I'm usually very tidy, but when I get into these slumps, It's a mess. And then the other one is just one. Like, for example, if I have like laundry to do and I have no motivation whatsoever to do it, I just say just one. I'll just fold one shirt. And as soon as I do one, then I'll do them all, because my brain was like, now you have to finish the task. It's a trap.
Yeah.
So I have to do it. In terms of emotionally, that's different. Like, because I feel a lot. It's like, I don't know. It's different. It depends from time to time. But the thing is, you have to plow through. You have to continue to do this, because it's just like there's day and night, and there's the rotation. The world keeps spinning. You have no control over it. So you just need to adapt. During the day, you wear clothes, day clothes. At night, you switch to pajamas, and you keep doing that all the time. That's life.
I love
Makes
that.
sense.
It does make sense, because momentum and the compound effect is real, right? And if you're pushing a big boulder up a hill and you stop, you stay there, you're gonna get tired from holding it, and the next thing you know, it's gonna roll back down, and you're gonna have to start all the way over. But even just keeping it going a little bit doesn't have to be at the pace it was going yesterday. Just a little bit keeps the momentum going,
Yep.
and 1% growth every day is the goal. And we can do it. We're overachievers, so we try to grow
Yes, we can.
5% in a normal day, but it's okay if you just did one load of laundry, man. Like, it's okay. It's 1%
As
growth.
simple as that. Like,
So I love it. Hold on, I keep throwing my phone down, Joao, just talking. I need to get these questions. You would think at this point I would know them. Okay, so if you could have a gigantic billboard that the whole world could see, what would it say and why?
what do you think? Choose love.
Choose love. I love it.
It's a choice. It's always a choice. Sometimes it's a difficult choice because it doesn't feel natural, and it's okay. But it's, as you were saying, like if you keep pushing the rock up the hill, sometime one day you'll build muscle enough that it's not going to be a weight anymore. You can actually just push it with one finger. Yeah. And with love, it's the same thing. Like, if you continuously choose love, kindness, compassion, like, just be there for people, be loving. One day it's not an effort anymore, and it just flows. So choose it every single time.
I love it. It's a great answer. Okay, so there's only 2 more questions. I always ask this one, throw this one in just from my music background, because I'm trying to or not even trying. I'm building a playlist off of all of you guys' inspirational songs so I could be inspired when I need it.
Okay.
So
I can share my playlist with you.
What is there a song that you would consider the soundtrack to your life? Or is there a song that you turn to for strength?
I can answer both, not all. I have several. Like, one of the things that I am is sound. So music is part of me, since I know myself. Yeah. Again, this is not mine. This was a song that I didn't discover. People presented to me like ages ago, decades ago. And it stayed with me because it translates a lot of who I am. And it's King Without a Crown by Matisse Yahoo. Okay. And it's amazing. He's a Jew that plays reggae together with rock, and he raps at the same time. He's amazing. And he has this song, and one of the chorus. This is why I love the song, because the chorus says, "What's this feeling? My love will rip a hole in the ceiling, giving myself to you as the essence, from the essence of my being." And then it's something like this. I can't remember now. Give myself to you from the essence of my being, and yeah. Oh, I sing to my God, all these songs of love and healing. And it's just like, I love it. It's my song. It's been my song for so many years. And then lately, it was always part of my life, but lately more and more, it's One Day, also from Matisse, because it talks about the moon, and I love the moon. So, and the part, the strengthening one is, this is a song that I listen to every time I need that extra push, and it's Circle of Life, The Lion King from Disney.
I love it.
I'm a Disney boy.
Yeah. Hakuna Matata, that's my song right there.
Hakuna fucking Matata.
Those are both great answers, man. Those are the exact type of songs that I want, right? Like, and then you just build a playlist of like everybody's songs, and then just let it play.
I want the playlist.
Yeah, I'm building it, man. It's coming. So, Joao, thank you so much. This has been exactly what I knew it was going to be. An awesome conversation that somebody's going to grow from. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, brother, from the bottom of my heart. What can we do to support you?
Tony, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me up here. I'm very honored and humbled. To I don't know, it's just amazing what you do here, and giving voice to people to actually make an impact. And if at least one person from everyone that is watching us feels that they can relate to this and gain something out of it, it's just, for me, it's a success straight away. How can you support me? Just this for me is supporting my cause. The thing about when you bring light to a dark room, you're not just lightening everything around you. That's the thing about light; it goes every direction, right? So you're bringing light to yourself as well. So I'll turn this question around, and I ask you, how can I support you? Because this is you supporting me.
Yeah, you're doing it right now, brother. You're doing it right now, and this is what I need for this show is just genuine people to have genuine conversations, right? Because it's all about the why, and why do I do this even at all, right? And it's just, I want to help, man. Like you said, if one person can grow, or one person got something out of this, then today I did something awesome, and that's what it's about, just growing. So,
Yes.
Love you, my brother. Thank you so much. I give you your Sunday back. You did an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, bro.
I love you, brother.
All right.
Cheers.
So yeah, man. I love that guy. Another great conversation. I'm supposed to, at this point, I guess I'm supposed to have like calls to action and be all promotional, and I'm dropping the ball on that part, and so let me say, hey, go to Instagram, The Deeply Rooted Show. Catch us on Facebook, The Deeply Rooted Show. YouTube, The Deeply Rooted Show. The website, thedeeplyrootedshow.com. We're putting together the Deeply Rooted Creative Academy. It's up and running, but we need some help. I put a GoFundMe up. And, if you see it in your heart, if you believe in the mission, then help us. We're just trying to make a difference out here. Love you guys. Deeply Rooted, Season 5. We'll be back next week with my guy Deepak Sharma. I love this dude. Every time I hear him talk, I learn something different. So, you guys have a great day. I'll see you next week.